If they're saying that women are being exploited, then shouldn't they be protecting them instead of just judging them and criticizing them? But this is not all. No, it doesn't end here. Well, hello there, welcome here where we learn how to be blind. How to be gay.
But he's gay. He's blind.
So today's episode is basically about being Italian and a homosexual and wanting to have a baby, which is quite complicated, but nothing that exiling your country cannot solve, which kind of defeats the purpose of having a kid in Italy. So the way that same-sex couples usually have babies in Italy is through surrogacy. And why surrogacy, you may ask? Well, because artificial intelligence... I keep saying artificial intelligence instead of artificial insemination. Because artificial insemination and adopting is illegal in Italy for LGBTQ+ couples. But because surrogacy is also illegal in Italy, these couples were doing surrogacy in other countries. So they would have this surrogate in other countries, and then once the baby is born, they bring him back to Italy. But now the government is wanting to make this illegal as well. The Italian Senate is set to make surrogacy a universal crime, which means that surrogacy is considered such a serious offense that it can be prosecuted when it's done abroad. Like human trafficking.
It feels odd that surrogacy, which is legal in many countries, would fall under this category.
No other country has this ban. And of course, a lot of these same-sex couples feel like this is just an attack to them.
Many people feel that this is about ideology.
Because why on earth would you go that huge extra mile to make surrogacy a universal crime? Like, if you think that surrogacy is so bad, then at least make adoption legal so that same-sex couples can do that.
They're looking for countries where it's easier for them to be gay parents.
So I'm just gonna be giving you some surrogacy tips and tricks. No, I'm just kidding. I just found out some good, interesting information about surrogacy. It's illegal in many countries. Most countries in Europe consider it illegal. There's a lot of people that do international surrogacy in the US because there's no federal law that forbids it, which means that each state has their own laws and regulations around it. A lot of states have laws to protect the surrogate, the donor, and the intended parents. It also happens that in many countries there's no laws that forbid it, but there's nothing written about it. So then there's no regulations around it, there's no protection, which is a big no-no, because there's nothing outlined about anyone's rights. Like, a lot of things can go wrong. And then there's also these specifications around, like, there's some countries where it's legal to do it for commercial purposes, like in the US, but there's some other countries where they would only allow it if it's done for altruistic purposes, meaning that the surrogate does not get paid for it, but they might be remunerated for some of the expenses. And of course, there's some countries that allow it for LGBTQ+ couples, and other countries will not allow it. Like, I probably wouldn't go to Russia to do it, or I probably wouldn't go to Russia, period. So yeah, it's very complicated. So before I keep going with the video, I wanted to address that as I was doing the research for this video, I was trying to come to a conclusion about surrogacy, if it's a good thing or a bad thing. And it's just, well, A, I'm a man, so I don't think I should be having an opinion on other women's bodies. And B, it's just too complex. Like, there's just way too many things to have in mind when it comes to this topic. So I guess the video is just to inform at least a little bit about it. I think the biggest issue with surrogacy is women exploitation. There's so many opinions online about it. I've read many Reddit posts from different women saying different things, like, as it stands now, surrogacy targets women who are financially in need, meaning that they're being exploited. Another one saying there's enormous potential for exploitation, but strict regulation could mitigate those risks. And then a surrogate mother saying surrogacy is not equal everywhere. Do some countries exploit poor women? Absolutely. But that doesn't mean that there isn't an ethical way to be a surrogate. And I kind of agree with that one, but at the same time, I know that there's many other women saying that even with regulations, it's just very hard to avoid women exploitation. So again, I don't know. I'm not going to have an opinion on this, but you let me know in the comments what you think. So maybe you can help me come up with a conclusion. So yeah, going back to Italy, now a lot of same-sex couples who are doing surrogacy internationally are going to have to exile the country because they can't bring their babies back.
We have to be ready to escape as quick as possible.
If they do, they might need to pay a fine of €1,000,000 or spend as much as 2 years in prison. And that's not something that you want to do when you just became a father or a mother.
If the baby comes here and then we're gonna go to jail, who takes care of the baby?
So this surrogacy bill comes from the agenda of Giorgia Meloni.
No a los lobby LGBT.
Which is Italy's first female prime minister. She's a radical right-wing leader. She defines herself as a Christian mother who believes that kids should be brought up by a mother and a father. Shocker.
Di fronte a un attacco violentissimo rispetto a chiunque.
Then there's Deputy Prime Minister Matteo Salvini saying that surrogates are
La donna bancomat, forno microonde che sforna ovuli.
And then there's Carolina Barci, who drafted this bill, says that they're just trying to protect women and their dignity. But then if you're trying to protect their dignity, why are you calling them an ATM? Why are you using language like uterus for rent? You know, you're clearly just trying to humiliate women. And this is where I draw the line, because you're just using the wrong criteria to evaluate surrogacy. You're just using your ideology, your religion, your subjective opinions.
Che confonde I desideri con I diritti, che sostituisce Dio con il denaro.
And you're putting that on top of the human experience of these women. If they're saying that women are being exploited, then shouldn't they be protecting them instead of just judging them and criticizing them? But this is not all. No, it doesn't end here. The Italian government is also stopping registering kids from same-sex couples. These kids are being deprived from the Italian citizenship, which means that they have difficulties accessing the free healthcare system in Italy. And on top of this, in Padova, they are having 33 birth certificates cancelled from children who were born from a lesbian couple.
All queer people in Italy are under attack.
All non-biological mothers will be removed and will lose the rights over their babies. They will need the authorization of the biological mother to take them to the doctor, make decisions for the kid.
Importanti, salvavita. Non potrei andare all'estero.
If the biological mother dies, then the kid becomes an orphan of the state, and the mother, who's not biological, will lose their kid.
The Italian government is going through a battle against children.
So yeah, these kids are being targeted by an ideological choice. And my heart goes out to the LGBTQ+ community in Italy, because it might be quite frankly horrible to be so outwardly hated by the government, by your own government, who puts their ideas over human experiences and over their population well-being, mainly the kids. But anyway, that was a video. I hope you enjoyed it. I am sweating. This has been quite a hard video to do. It's really such a complex topic. And yeah, I'm really curious to see what your opinions are on it. So please let me know in the comments, and please like and subscribe as always, and I'll see you next time.